So he spoke from the depths of heaven. He said, men ought always to pray and not to faint. This is how we shape the systems of the world. For your life, that which God himself planned, it will take discernment. Number 4, it protects you from deception. That's why it confers dominion. If you are deceived too many times in life, you will not have enough energy, motivation, or resources to make impact. Ask those who have suffered deception before. One of the most devastating things that can happen to a man is to fall prey to deception. And the world where we live now, it is difficult to find people doing what they are doing genuinely, including ministry. That's how treacherous our generation is. Somebody preaches for 1 month. He is preparing you to empty your salary on the last week. So he uses 3 weeks to prepare your mind. So that when the moment the salary comes, you feel guilty to have to keep it for any reason. And the way he's talking, he's quoting scripture, you will want to die. He doesn't have your best interest. Nowadays that people do all these businesses online, you will see people follow emails online. Emails. When it reaches the point of transfer, they will clone your conversation and read. You have not met. I've met people who ran to me for prayers. They were deceived. Interacting, business. Last moment of transfer, 1 week later, they clone and channel conversation. Because they were building up all the interactions. And at the last minute, you don't know the world we are living in. There was one who promised somebody from, I don't know, is he Indonesia now? Where's Barrister Rumen? Because I handed the case to him. That he will marry her. Meanwhile, Oga has a wife with a child. You don't know this world. You will be heartbroken. And the energy to leave your Kairos season won't be there. Maybe you recover after 2 years. They say, this window that just closed comes once in 14 years. So you have to wait for another 14 years for that Kairos season to come. How can you make impact? So discernment shields you from deception. He said in 2 Corinthians 11 verse 3 and 4, which is one of the most graphic scripture that dealt with deception. He said, but I fear, lest by any means, as the serpent beguiled Eve, through his what? Subtlety. So your mind should be corrupted from the simplicity of the gospel. So those who deceive, they are masters of beguiling. The word is nakash in the Hebrew. It's like the hiss of a serpent. When they show up, when they look into your eyes, you get confused. Have you heard of money? All these people that do money doubling, they look at you and say, how are you, sir? The moment you see them in the eyes, nakash. And then they tell you, we have a chemical, red mercury. We can double your money to any amount. One came to me some years back. Discernment is an asset. They called. Are you Mike? I say, yes, I'm Mike. He said, how you do? It's been a while. I said, yeah. Are you still in Makodi? I say, yes, I'm here. He said, how about your friend Owina? I called him. Are they still in Kano? I said, yes. He said, there is a transformer deal we are doing. As I'm talking to you now, we have paid over 50 million. And then you hear 15 million. He said, in fact, the contractor is coming now with chopper. They are supposed to land at the Air Force base. A car will pick them to move it. But they are insisting that they don't trust me. I should bring one sample. How much is sample? 560,000. That if they just see the sample, they will credit that they are not greedy. They know me. They are going to give me 30%. mathematics began. What is 30% of 50 million? I was already calculating around 4 point something million. They said, no, all they need is just to. I said, but you can remove the sample. Is it not your property? They said, no. You can't open any pack. So what they want to do now is to get one extra pack from what they've supplied already, and that's what they've charged. I called my sister in immigration, called this one. Where do we get money? Where do we get money? Pastor Sonny went to the mother shop. How much do we have here? We started gathering money from everywhere. 550,000 must come out. When I told my sister, she said, chopper? Is it so easy to access chopper at such a time? She now called her colleague to find out because she's in the force. When she said transformer, the colleague said, are they bringing chopper? Has chopper come? That's when they started laughing. Say they are liars. Meanwhile, at the time we are talking, they've already sent me recharge card of 2,000 naira so that call shouldn't end at any time. Don't. If you are talking, let that call not end. I didn't know the guy chewed chewing stick. Na cash. I didn't have the sample. A friend of mine, the father, after 35 years in civil service, finished, they paid gratuity. He was going home. Somebody met him and started talking tanker business, oil and gas. That was how the man sent you. This is not experience. Oh. I'm talking discernment. Do you know what it means? A civil servant of 35 years, retired as a deputy director. You know that this person has labored. Empty. You'll be wondering, what did they tell you? In the whisper of a serpent. He enters your soul. You can't sleep. And then they tell you, don't tell anybody. If anybody knows, this is a very solid, we don't want crowd. Or you will know what you are doing. You come under his spell. Until the thing breaks, then you are asking yourself, what was I processing? Deception. Terrible. A boy was sharing a story recently. They told them to go to Europe through Sahara Desert. I said, did you do any research about Sahara Desert? Who told you you can trek through Sahara? He said, no. They told them there's a pickup that carries the people. I think they said Liberia or Mali somewhere. Through Algeria or whatever. Do you know where they started calling his family from? When they got to Liberia, Mali or something. Libya. You were there, but when they got to Libya, they now carried them in a hillocks. And as they were running through a desert, the guy said one of them fell. They didn't stop. Meanwhile, this is a road that hillocks passes once in 2 weeks. That means that guy's story has ended. If you don't hold the hillocks, you are your own. Those of you who go to Europe through Sahara, they will sell you. They ended up selling this guy in Algeria. That's where they were calling his family from. They gathered money to send for his bail. Before they started struggling on how to deport him to Nigeria.